So of course ISIS released the beheading video of journalist Alan Henning earlier this month. Now it sounds like there may be another beheading today. Today is Wednesday. And at the end of the Alan Henning video, they promised to behead American journalist Peter Kasich. So we'll see if that happens. But interestingly, yesterday, video was released of what appears to be American aid that was supposed to be dropped for the Kurds to fight ISIS. But surprise, surprise, it ended up in ISIS's hands. Let's take a look.
ذخائر، معدات عسكرية، معدات إضافية. هذه بعض الأسلحة العسكرية التي ألقتها القوات الأمريكية للأحزاب اليابجية واليابكية.
Okay, so that hasn't been independently confirmed, so it's a little unclear when exactly that was dropped. Some people are saying some of the stuff may be from somewhere else, but it's clear that a lot of it is American-made. We got a huge situation going on the Turkish-Syrian border in the town Kobani, which is where the Kurds are fighting ISIS. The Turks are kind of fighting the Kurds. Everyone's just fighting everybody. We're sort of bombing people. We don't know what the hell's going on. It's a big freaking mess. Ben Rhodes, who's the White House press secretary, he commented earlier this week about dropping aid and who it's getting to. We feel very confident that we've been able to hit the target in terms of reaching the people we want to reach. What I can assure people is that when we are delivering aid now, we focus it on the people we want to receive that assistance. Those are civilians in need. Those are forces that we're aligned with in the fight against ISIL, and we take precautions to make sure that it's not falling into the wrong hands. And then there's the video that you just saw. So, you know, like every week we do something about ISIS, and it's a big freaking mess, and I feel like we're aiding the wrong people half the time. We don't know who our allies are. People are helping us, they're not helping us. So does any of this surprise you in any way?
Well, you know, this goes back to the whole thing where you had the hawk Republicans in Congress who were like, oh, we're going to support the right Syrian rebels and not the wrong Syrian rebels. And of course this stuff's going to wind up in the wrong hands. I mean, you know, we armed Al-Qaeda to fight the Russians and then faced our own guns ourselves. There's a history of this stuff.
Yeah, so it's just obvious, like we see these videos, like I saw the video immediately, I was like, of course. This just is so sad.
It's like a bad Homeland episode or something. Yeah, it's definitely, it seems like the sort of early healthcare.gov of military operations. I mean, I can't believe, but there's people, doubters online saying that this is like a falsified video, right?
Well, of course, there's all the conspiracy theorists, and if you go to Infowars.com, what's his name? Who's the guy at Infowars? Alex Jones, babbling on about all the conspiracies and is the CIA really ISIS and all that stuff. Right. I don't know what the hell's going on, but when I see these videos, it makes me realize how important the social media game is. Like, how much do you think that really, you know, we've discussed, can we show these videos? How much of the beheading stuff should be shown? Twitter isn't posting them anymore. How important do you think the social media game is to both sides?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously the game has changed. It's not like where, you know, Osama bin Laden would send his new videotape to the networks and they would hope they would show it. Now it's, everybody's got a direct conduit, and so
that poor guy's out of a job.
Well, you know,
the guy who had to take the tape. And
the press liaison for Al-Qaeda, sadly. No, and so, yeah, I mean, I think that we've seen it work in both directions. You know, it can bring to light something like the Tahrir Square protests or whatever, but at the same time, yeah, these guys can use it, and I'm sure while Twitter's trying to crack down on it, and I think people are starting to realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't share the beheading video on my Facebook wall, it's still going to be going around, and they've got a direct link to people that they didn't have before.
Yeah, they're using it to recruit too.
Sure.
Yeah, it's scary.
Is this the inherent problem with sort of doing a half war? Now, I've been against this thing from the beginning. We didn't get congressional authority to go to war in Syria. It was still unclear whether we had that to even do anything in Iraq anymore, but we don't even talk about that anymore. But is this part of it, when you just do airstrikes as opposed to doing more? Not that I'm saying we should do more. That this is what's going to happen, because you're going to bomb people and just drop things, as opposed to having things on the ground where you can literally hand weapons to people or hand food to people, et cetera, et cetera.
You'd think that we'd be capable of more accuracy, what with like drone technology and stuff like that, right?
Are these drones just not that good? We're always afraid of drones, and they're just not that great.
It's crazy to me that we can put a robot on Mars and yet we can't accurately drop ammunition where it needs to be. Right?
Final thought on this. Do you think the military-industrial complex actually cares where the weapons end up? Because that's the other thing I started thinking, like, you know what, they drop those. Well, that just means they have to drop more for the other guys. So it's like the machine just keeps rolling along.
If they could arm both sides, they would.
Yeah.
That's where the money is.
I'm pretty sure that's
totally
what they're doing.
Scary thought.
I don't think there's any qualms on any part about this.